Hey, what's up? My name is Samuel Leeds. I am a property investor. I make a lot of money from investing in property. And on this video, I am going to be answering your property investment questions. I'm going to do my best to answer as many of them as possible. What I want you to do is I want you to comment your questions below in the comment section. And guess what I'm going to do next week? I'm going to answer your questions next week. So don't forget to smash the like button, turn on the notification bell. If you're not subscribed, do that now. Turn on the bell and start commenting your property questions below, no matter how silly it might sound. If it's anything property, finance, mortgages, tax related, comment below. I'll do my best to answer. So let's see what we had from last week. We had a guy called Lucas Kirkham. Good day, Samuel. How do you think the coronavirus will affect the market? Do you think there'll be a lot of distressed sales soon with deaths? If it is as bad as the fear mongers are acting. This question keeps coming up. How do I think the coronavirus is going to affect the property market in the UK or worldwide? Okay, listen. The coronavirus is definitely having an effect on people because people are scared. And whenever people are affected by something, it will affect, even whether it be directly or indirectly, on a small scale or a large scale. It is going to affect business. It is going to affect the property market. There has been an article about this. I think it was written by the Telegraph that said that property prices were just beginning to soar in the UK because of the Boris bounce and because when we left the EU, they were just beginning to soar. And they think that the coronavirus is making people just a tiny bit apprehensive right now. So is it going to affect the property market? It might a little bit, yes. Maybe it will just slow the growth that was beginning to happen. I mean, long term, I don't think that it will unless we all die. But hopefully that won't happen. I also think that the biggest way it's going to affect the market is serviced accommodation because house prices, I can't see they're going to be massively affected. It depends on what happens with the coronavirus. My guess is that the coronavirus is being talked about like crazy at the moment in the news. Everyone's talking about it. But like lots of other things like foot and mouth disease, swine flu, these things usually come in. People talk about them for a very long time. Everyone's scared. And then after 6 months or a year, it kind of blows over and the world goes on. So I'm not an expert in the coronavirus. As a property investor, I'm not worried, but I wouldn't be surprised if it slightly slows down the speed of expansion and serviced accommodation. The tourist market, I mean, in the UK, not at the moment too much, but that's probably the one to watch. So I would just keep an eye on it and always look at worst case scenario. And maybe I'll do another video about it in a couple of months and we'll see what's going on. So great question. Thank you so much for that question. What else do we have? Tom Hodges, you say to be optimistic in general. Going back from the previous question, yeah. But always look at the worst case scenario when deciding on a deal. What strategy or plan should we have with our investment properties if there is a recession or downturn in the property market? Thanks, love the channel and the value you give. Thank you so much, Tom. Tom, that's a great question. So I do always say to be, positive in general, positive in life, positive in yourself. But when you're looking at a deal, always look at the best case and the worst case. And always put together a plan of what's going to happen if the worst case happens. I mean, even going back to the coronavirus, or if there's a recession in general, and a recession will usually happen because of 3 reasons. It will be because the bank runs out of money, the people run out of money, or just fear. Generally, just massive fear, usually one of the above. If you're buying a property, you need to say what's going to happen if the price drops. Now, if you're buying it to sell it, and that's the whole plan, and it's not really a particularly good rental property, and then there's a recession, you're going to be really affected. But if you're buying it and your plan is to just hold on to it and rent it out and the rent's really good and the return's really good, then you buy it. Even if the value of the property drops, it actually doesn't affect you at all because you're holding on to it and ultimately we know it's going to go back up. So that's what I'd look at. I'd just look at what's your strategy, have an exit strategy as well. So if you're planning on buying a property to then sell it, and you think, maybe there's going to be not much expansion, then an exit strategy could be to rent it. And what happens if you rent it? Are you going to make money? Is it going to at least wash its face? If it's not, you're going to lose money on it. And then you think there potentially could be a recession, then maybe buying it to sell it is a bad plan if that's the only strategy. So I'd always just look at exit strategies, sometimes exit strategies of exit strategies, best case, worst case. Don't be scared about the property price dropping if that's not how you're intending to make money short term anyway. So I hope that helps Tom answer your question. Great question. What else do we have? Hi Samuel, I wanted to know what the role of the investor is once the deal has been carried out and I've secured a property. Okay, so if you're talking from you being a deal sourcer or a deal packager, which I think you are, the role of the investor, well, the role of the investor is to buy the house. So if you've secured a property and then you've passed it on to an investor, they're going to pay you their fee and then they're going to buy the house. So they're ultimately responsible for making sure that the property is something that fits their criteria. So they're going to pay you your fee. You're going to have terms and conditions, which is going to be protecting them and protecting you. They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to buy the house. So I'm not quite sure if I misunderstood the question, but the role of the investor is to invest. The role of the sourcer and the securing of the property person, i.e. you in this case, is to find a good property and to match up the investor with the property and take a fee. And then you're going to use that fee probably to put together towards your deposit on an investment property as well. Because you want to be making money over here, investing money over here. Make, invest. Make, invest. So you're going to be the sourcer and the investor at some point as well. So I don't know if that answers your question. If it doesn't, maybe just drop another comment and tell me that I misunderstood it. Alexander, PPG. Hey Samuel, my question, I'm planning on making friends and then making calls like crazy to get deals to sell after 1 or 2 deals to invest these money myself. That's exactly what I just said. This is awesome. You guys are getting this. And the thing is, I don't have money to be compliant with this. Can I just sell the deals for less because I'm not compliant? And with this deal, I will have myself be compliant if it works. Thank you for everything. I can see myself successfully because of you. With all the knowledge of yours, I can do real estate investing really easy for me. Love you, man. Boom. Alexander, I love you too. So regardless of the fee that you're charging, if you're charging £500 or if you're charging £5,000, you really do need to be a compliant deal sourcer before you find deals and package them and sell them to people. And the reason you want to be compliant is because you need to protect yourself and you also need to protect the investor. If you're not compliant and you've not got proper terms and conditions, you're not registered with the property ombudsman, then what could happen is you could take money from someone, even only £100, and then down the line, if the property is really bad, they could try and sue you. So you just want to make sure you're compliant. So what I would probably say, Alexander, is if you haven't got the money to become compliant, then what I would suggest you do is you find somebody. You said you're making lots of friends, which is awesome. So you find a friend or a contact who is compliant, and then you find the property and you say, hey, can you sell it for me? Let them sell it. You found it, and do a profit share somewhere. If you sell the deal for 2,000, let them keep 1,000 because they're compliant. They found the investor. You found the deal. And with that £1,000 or whatever it is that you make, put that towards becoming compliant so that then you can do it yourself and build your own investor list. Hope that helps. Love you too, my friend. Keep up the great work and keep watching. All right, Ridwan Patel. Hi Samuel, great channel. When packaging a deal, when sourcing, a lot of packaging deal questions, and when sourcing a property, how do you contact the actual owner? The land registry has names, etc., but no contact details, e.g. email address or phone number. Hope this makes sense. Thanks. Ridwan, that completely makes sense. Great question. So if you're buying a property and you're trying to find a deal, presumably you're going to be looking at properties of people that actually want to sell. You're not just gonna walk down a random street and go, that would make a great house. I'll just knock the door and check that they're interested in selling, because you're just gonna be like a crazy person like I was in America when I was trying to find a house. If you've not seen the American video, we'll leave a link in the description below. So you're gonna be contacting sellers that want to sell. So who are these sellers that want to sell? Well, they might have their property on the market, in which case it will be on Rightmove, it will be on Zoopla, it will be on estate agent shop windows. That's easy, you just book a viewing. And if you want to speak to the owner direct, little trick is book a viewing in the evening, because estate agents don't usually like working in the evening, and that way you'll probably meet the owner direct. Or find them selling themselves but off market. So look for signs where they've got their phone number and they're selling themselves, or look on Gumtree and Spare Room or OpenRent and just contact Craigslist even. You know, if you're selling your house on Craigslist or Gumtree, you've got to be pretty motivated. So because they're selling, they're going to be putting their contact numbers themselves on these sites. You're going to phone them up and say, hey, you know, what's your motivation for selling? What's the lowest price you'd accept if I bought it cash tomorrow? Get yourself a really good deal and then package and sell it or buy it yourself. So I hope that helps. Great question and good luck on your property journey. What else do we have? DR Cam. Hey Samuel, thanks for another great video. Thank you, you're so welcome. I have secured 3 deals since attending your crash course in January. Fantastic, congratulations. 3 deals from the crash course, brilliant. And the crash course, by the way, is a free 2-day training program that I run. Again, I'm gonna leave a description in the link below. If you wanna come and spend a couple days with me and learn about property, there'll be a link in the description below. Luckily, the first one got rented out straight away. Bang! Awesome. Being eager to make a return on my investment, I think I know where this is going. Bad tenants. I drew up a quick contract and let the tenant move in immediately, only to realise after that I probably should have done some checks and got readings on the boiler. Yes, but hey, congrats that you're just learning on the job. But yeah, for sure. I did cover this a little bit in the crash course. Maybe at that point you were just calling estate agents and booking viewings. Luckily, there were no major issues, good, and it was a valuable learning experience for me. Awesome. To save time and effort on my next project. Question, what are your 5 pre-move-in checklist things to do? Oh my goodness. Before the tenant moves in to avoid any complications or problems in the future, and maybe any experiences of your own when you first started as a landlord. Many thanks in advance. Looking forward to your next video. Thank you so much. I hope you see this DR cam. If you do, drop another comment below. So, okay, before you move your tenant in, what would I look for? Well, firstly, I would vet the tenant. And you said 5. I'll just list a few and see if it makes it 5. So, get a work reference. Make sure they're working. Get a credit check done on them. Get a previous landlord reference. And when I say previous, I don't mean current. Because what a lot of people do is they'll ask the current landlord, hey, are they a good tenant? Because I'm thinking of moving into my house. If they're terrible, the current landlord wants them gone. So the current landlord will say, they're amazing. So you want to go back to the previous landlord who has no agenda, no axe to grind, that will tell you the truth. And then also just how much they're working, can they afford, like an affordability check. They're the basic things that you want to get. A letting agency in place, really important. I mean, you said that you banged up your agreement yourself. I would usually recommend to get a letting agent to do that for you because they'll do it properly, professionally. You've got to also, if you're doing it yourself, a letting agent will do all this for you. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to have to make sure you register the deposit, and you can do that on, I think it's called mydeposits.co.uk. But again, my letting agents do this for me. In terms of the actual property, yeah, there's things that you are going to need to make sure of, like you've got a gas safety certificate, the hot water's working. There are little niggly things. What you can do is you can actually move in there for one night yourself and live in the property for a day and sleep over. And you'll very quickly realise if there's any things that you're doing, like you forgot to put things up, or if there's that's quite a nice way. So I hope that helps, and congratulations on your 3 properties. I hope that they're giving you a fantastic return. I know they will be because you came from the crash course, so well done. Okay, what else do we have? Dan Barber. Okay, we'll do this and then we'll do one more and then I'm going to wrap up. Dan Barber says, hi Samuel, another amazing video, thank you. Your videos are getting better and better each week. Thank you. My question is, have you ever had experience or know if it's possible to use equity in someone else's property, such as parents, to invest in more property? Yes, you can do that. If you've got equity in a house, you can refinance. You pay no tax on the money that you pull out because it's debt. You don't pay tax on debt. But the money that you get from the refinance, you can reinvest into property. You can take out more mortgages and put down mini deposits, which is going to give you a massive and good leverage on your cash, on your return, on capital appreciation. So this can be done. And if you've got equity in a parent's house, as long as they're willing, they are either going to lend you the money. So you're going to say, hey, look, refinance. You might pay 3 or 4% interest to the bank. Give me the money and I'll give you 10% interest. Get an agreement in place and then invest the money, and they can have a charge on the properties that you invest in, or do it as a joint venture. So you're going to tell your parents, you're going to tell them to refinance the house, and then with the money, because you've got the skill, the time, the courage, you're going to take that money, you're going to invest it for them, and you're going to go 50-50 on the profit. So 100% that is possible. Good luck with that. Okay, last question. Frizzy, about NZZ. Cool name. I have a decent sum of money saved and I'm ready to begin my property journey. However, it is a 2 to 3 hour journey to the place where I will be buying and doing viewings. My question is this: would it be smart financially, in your opinion, to spend some of my money, over £40,000, on a car, as it would make life so much easier for viewings, etc.? I feel as though it's necessary, but I'm afraid to spend the money. Are you saying that you've got 40 grand and you're thinking of buying a car, or are you saying you've got a sum of money and you're thinking of investing 40 grand of that money into a car? I mean, listen, a car, generally speaking, is a liability because a car goes down in value and it doesn't give you any rent. However, if you're using a car and you're using that as a vehicle to get you to properties that's going to be making you money, then I guess you could argue that it's an asset. However, just if you're looking at this from a purely financial point of view and a commercial decision, not an emotions or a luxury or I want position, 40 grand on a car is not necessary at all. You can buy a car that gets you from A to B for £5,000 easily. So just think of it like this. if your property business, and you might not have any properties, you might not have any staff, but if you have a property business and you had staff, and the staff needed to get from A to B and do viewings and stuff, would you buy them cars? Would you buy them 40 grand cars? Probably not, because it would be an over expense. So from a purely financial business perspective, why would you spend £40,000 on a car yourself if the reason is purely business and finances? I mean, you could lease a nice car for £250, £300 a month. I mean, you can lease Range Rovers for like £500, £600 a month. So I probably wouldn't buy a car. I would lease one, but that's my general feedback. Guys, thank you for watching this. I hope you found those answers useful, but don't forget, this is your chance to have your questions answered. So comment below with anything property related, anything that's niggling. If any of these questions I answered, you have an offshoot of a question or an offshoot to an offshoot, just comment it all below. And next week, I'm going to be taking some questions, hopefully yours, and do my best to answer them at Sunday at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and listen, if you don't turn the notification bells on, that's a problem, because I could be answering your question and you don't even know I ever answered it because you didn't see the video pop up because you didn't turn the notification bell on. So hit subscribe, turn the bell on. I'll see you next time.